Good evening. My name is Priscilla Green, and my presentation is on one transactional leader, Nadia Lewis, and one transformational leader, that is Mr. Zubin Kapoor. Zubin Kapoor happens to be the CEO of the current call center, research center that I work at, and he took over for past administrations. Nadia Lewis was once my principal at a school, and she retired, took a leave of absence through the pandemic. So, transformational versus transactional leaders. Transformational leaders, they conform others, and they're charismatic, and they try to inspire, motivate, and influence others. Got a lot of information from Bass. Also, a transactional leader takes the same charge and focuses on contingency and management by exception. He can be passive or active, and involves situational leadership. The interview questions that I asked were to give me a quick bio of yourself, career, and life. I let them know that I think of view them as either transformational or transactional, whichever one I chose for them, but also which style or leadership style do you understand yourself to be? What trait do you think you would make you what trait do you think makes you a leader? And what are your strengths and weaknesses? The Hersey Blanchard situational model, I just wanted their opinion of it. How do they feel about it in their particular field? And to differentiate transformational and transactional leadership as it pertains to them, personally or um, within a profession. Also, how do you personally define DEI and its importance as a leader? Now, our first leader is Zubin Kapoor. And he gave me permission to use all this information here. Now, Zubin was born and raised in India, and he did a lot, and he's traveled a lot in his time. He's done a lot to transform the research company that I work at to build and create a and more positive atmosphere. And that's why I chose him for a transformational leader. When I let him know that, he was kind of he was complimented, but he was like, I think of myself more as an inclusive leader, but if you're saying I transformed the company, you know, I'm glad that I did, because things that he really wanted to change, he didn't want to come in and just say, change this, change this, change that. He wanted to actually build relationships and do things in that manner. He worked, his background is in wireless, AT&T and things like T-Mobile, and on through those sales operations, strategic sales team. He took a leave of absence, well, an actual break when he left that career, and then he jumped into being the CEO of the American Directions Research. He identifies his own traits as an inclusive leader, as I mentioned before, and that he's empathetic, he's strategic, communicable, ideation. He loves to say that because he does have a lot of ideas, and he presents his ideas just like a transformational leader into in a way that makes everyone else want to do it, because if he's very charismatic, very nice, very structured. My transactional leader, Nadia Lewis, she she grew up the same, pretty much like he did. A lot of traveling. Both of them had a lot of traveling in some of the same places. Um, she did have her mom mostly through her life. She had a hard time about 9 or 10 when they moved out of from Japan to the United States in the Miami area. Tough schools, tough life. But then as they settled in the Sebring and calmed down, she still, had that attitude of, like, I got to stand up for myself. I'm going to have to actually fight to get what I want. But I mean, you still have to fight, but not with physically, but more mentally, emotionally. And some of those things, like she said, made her the leader that she is now. Her identifiable traits that makes her transactional leader. She's honest. She is also like strategic as Mr. Kapoor. She has a good work ethic. She's sheer competitiveness, and that's where a lot of that comes in. Where when she's leading, she's saying, okay, this person is a top person here, this person does this well, you guys follow this lead, follow this person. And then if you didn't, she sent those people out, to go and show others how to do it. We talked about their strengths and weaknesses a little bit before, but this is just to present it, in a more open area. Zubin's strengths are empathy, ideation, input, strategic, and communicable. His weaknesses are being easily distracted and looking back over a problem that was solved to see if the solution still stands. And that's more like he explained he could solve a problem here this week about the phone system, because we do have a lot of phone issues there. But then because he solved that problem, next week when he's working on the financial part of a certain client, he didn't go back and look and see if that phone issue has been completely solved, or was it just a quick fix that still needs to be worked on. Nadia's strengths are being supportive of her staff, discipline-based, respectful of others' opinions, creative, and believes in a positive work environment. Her weaknesses are she forgets things, such as pretty much the same thing as Mr. Kapoor, to go back and look, those little small details that actually make a plan come together. And that's why she likes to have a team. The leader's shortcomings in coaching leadership. Coaching leadership was something that I did a lot of research on, and I only wanted to use one article, but you'll see more from it as we work through this program. It's actually taking the positives of everyone, the benefits of each person, and merging it onto one system so that you have a successful team. This person is good at this person is good at this, and that's a lot that Mr. Kapoor also said. If you have a person good with data, another person good with market research, another person good with simulation, if you bring all those people together, you're going to come up with a good plan that in the end is his final decision. However, he loves the input process. As Principal Ms. Lewis, she believes in contingency rewards. She did it a lot. She talked, you get rewarded. You get a belt, a math belt, if your class has a top score. You get a certificate if your class is top this. You get a picture. You get compliments on how well your class is doing, and then AR trophy for reading enough books and making 80% or above on quizzes, door contest, racing, any field day, anything that was a lot of competition, but also showed who excelled, and using those accelerants to be the mirror or the model for other people. So include Nadia Lewis and Zubin Kapoor, they shared a lot of the same qualities. Some, not a lot, I should say. They both exhibited both transactional and transformational leadership styles when they're talking. Comparing the two leaders, each identify strategy and communication as priority leadership characteristics, while both admitted detail as a flaw in their leadership. As a person under their leadership, observation of the two leaders display both kindness and strength. An aspiring leader would benefit from working with each one of the leaders in their own field. Zubin is in the business world and Nadia is in the educational field, however, both excelled. Growing into leadership and speaking into two captains makes the destination worth the swim. And that's Funk and Hawkins. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. I worked really hard on trying to get enough research and background to support anything, so it didn't come out as an opinion, but as actual supported research fact. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a good night.